Good morning, all. A very warm welcome. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. On behalf of SICKI and SICKI's Infrastructure Committee and JLL as a session partner, I thank Mr. I. J. Kumar, IRTS, Special Officer and Member Secretary of Chennai Unified Metropolitan Transport Authority, KUMTA, Government of Tamil Nadu, for accepting our invitation and to share his experience, thoughts for today's 1 hour of webinar focusing on planning for more resilient and robust urban mobility in Chennai. We also welcome all the participants for taking out time today to attend this webinar. The main objective of this webinar is to discuss and focus on resilience principles in sustainable urban mobility planning for future cities with focus on Chennai. As we all know, transport supports everyday mobility of people and is crucial to the production and the distribution of goods. Transportation infrastructure is the underlying system of public works designed to facilitate movement. Cities should prepare the existing physical and digital infrastructure to be able to adapt to the unforeseeable changes. Government of Tamil Nadu has been actively involved in developing transport infrastructure in the state, and some of the major initiatives like Greenfield Airport, which is planned at Parandur, Chennai Metro Rail, which is spreading across all the corners of the city, on-street and off-street parking management, which has been developed by Greater Chennai Corporation, the Mega Street program of World Bank, again implemented by Greater Chennai Corporation, upgradation of railway station, modernization of bus depots from Metropolitan Transport Corporation, the Outer Ring Road, which is a new horizon to the city, which will also see a lot of development in and around that corridor. Apart from this, the major expressways like Chennai Port to Madurai Expressway, 6-lane Chennai-Salem Expressway are the projects in planning stage. Bangalore-Chennai Expressway, Chennai Peripheral Ring Road are some of the ongoing projects in the transport infrastructure sector. The major public transportation upliftment project that is moving off Coimbatore bus stand to Kilambakam, followed by Kothambakam and Madavaram, is a massive upliftment to the public transportation system in order to de-congestion the city, which has also been planned and developed by Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority. And the most important is the multimodal integration, which again the authority is focusing, and some of the locations like Broadway, Gindi, and some more important nodes of Chennai will be selected. And as all of us have seen, even Tamil Nadu's 23-24 budget has also allocated close to 500 crores for the infrastructure side, specifically on road and some of the major transportation initiatives. So without taking more time, I would once again request and welcome Mr. Jay Kumar to come and participate and be part of as a chief guest, and to share his views as on the KUMTA as well as the initiatives. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Good morning to all the members and friends. Thank you for giving the opportunity, for us to be present in this forum. And just I wanted to mention briefly about what is KUMTA and what is the role and what is our expected contribution towards a robust and resilient urban mobility. As you all aware, all the major cities, more than 1 million population will have in future, will have a unified metropolitan the transport authority everywhere. And at least in the metropolis like Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai, in fact Calcutta also, in a different format it has been formed. Just I am having a presentation. I will just show you so that while seeing the presentation also we can discuss. Can you see this also? Presentation, please.
Yeah, we can see, sir.
The presentation is visible, no?
Yes, sir, visible, sir. You can continue, sir.
Yeah. A few slides about roles and functions and our integrated approach and our thrust area. And then vis-a-vis Kumta, vis-a-vis the urban mobility resilience and the challenges forward. Just briefly, I will explain. Kumta as an authority, now it is having a legal backup also. Kumta Act was enacted in 2010 by the Tamil Nadu government. And in 2020, there was an amendment making Honorable Chief Minister of the state as a chairperson of the authority. So that much a high-level thrust has been given to Kumta. However, over the past 10 years or 12 years, it was inactive, and for the past 1 year, now Kumta has become revitalized. Separate Kumta Secretariat has been formed, and special officer has been posted. I have been posted. Them I will be designated as a member secretary. Once second amendment also now it is in the assembly. So once it is passed, so furthermore delegation of powers will be there. And one more structure will be there, executive committee headed by chief secretary. So this is a structure of Kumta. Our area now, as you know, planning, CMDA is doing the land use planning, and Kumta is associated with the transport planning. So both are two sides of the coin. So one side land use planning and transport planning has to go together. Without transport, we cannot do land use planning, and without land use planning, transport doesn't exist. Entire now recently Chennai metropolitan area has been expanded to from 1189 square kilometer to 5900 square kilometer, 5904 square kilometer to be precise. Our jurisdiction also extends the entire metropolitan area. So we have to plan for 5904 square kilometer. That means the entire Chennai suburban area, including Arakonam, Tirthani, to the northwest, to Kanjipuram, Chengalpat, this side up to Mahabalipuram. So this is a wider area. Apart from the core corporation, so we have 3 corporations, around 10 municipalities, and 15 Nagar Panchayat. So it is a bigger area. So we have to coordinate all the agencies for seamless urban mobility. That is what overall objective. And this is a brief roles of Kumta. It is an umbrella body, and it provides a framework for comprehensive mobility plan and integrated planning. And we are planning for a common ticketing also. So I briefly mentioned about the common ticketing. Now, among the public transport modes, like MTC buses, metro, and suburban rail. So what we are planning in association with the CDAC, Center for Development of Advanced Computing, Noida, and IIT Madras, we are planning a journey planner come integrated ticketing app, QR based app, that a ticket will be there. So any commuter or any customer, he can go through the app. So the app will give you from A to D. So A to B, B to C, C to D, 3 legs. So if you go by bus, rail, or metro, so that combination will be given, which one is the shortest or more economical. So those options will be given to the customer. He can choose his combination. Straight away, one QR code will be generated, and he can travel in these modes, either 2 modes or 3 modes together. And the same QR code will be valid for all the 3 systems. Slowly, we wanted to expand it to other last mile and first mile connectivity like Ola, Uber, Rapido. So those areas also we will be expanding, so that from your house you wanted to reach somewhere, involving 3-4 legs of journey, all will be integrated in a single ticketing system. So this is a very for the first time in India we are doing, because in Mumbai and Delhi and all, they are doing only metro and buses. So now we are integrating with the Southern Railway also. So that will be a little complex system. So we hope we will be launching by another 9 to 12 months. That is a time frame we are working at. Then Kumta will be regulate the in sector funding, transport related funding. We will be regulating. In fact, under Chennai City Partnership Program, World Bank is funding around 4,000 crores in this phase 2. So the entire funding now Kumta will be functioning as a PMU, Project Monitoring Unit, so that we will be doing the coordination, recommending the fund allocation to the finance department, so that we will be indirectly involved in the funding process also. Slowly, any urban mobility authority, if you have a funding control, then you will have a better coordination also. So that's what the way forward. And then our main role is overseeing the key transportation projects and implementation of CMP recommendations, that is Comprehensive Mobility Plan. So we are making a urban mobility master plan for the next 25 years. Now the consultant has been appointed. So the study will take 15 months. So simultaneously, CMDA will be doing the third master plan in Chennai. Now they are already started the process. Third master plan and our comprehensive mobility plan will go together. So third master plan will be released by 25-26, but we will be releasing the master plan by 23-24, or 24-25, yearly 24-25. Because 15 months it takes. So this is the overall integrated approach. Various departments and various roles. Every department will have their silo functions. So Kumta will be a platform for the integrated coordination. Then Kumta, we have 4 subcommittees also. We have a Digital Chennai, Urban Mobility, Multimodal Integration, and Road Safety Subcommittee. So I will explain more about the Urban Resilience Subcommittee, because today's theme also one of the resilient and robust infrastructure. So I will give more thrust on the urban resilience part. And the Digital Chennai part, just I briefly mention also, we are planning for a digital platform. In the digital platform, the entire urban data structure will be there under GIS format, and urban project planning module also will be there. So that briefly, if I mention, suppose a TNAB is doing a cabling, and this will be put it in the system. So water, storage and water board or corporation officials, so that they can see the plan accordingly, they can align their activities. Similarly, long range plans, 3 years and 5 years plan also, highways, smart highways, or new highway, new outer ring road, or peripheral road, and all alignment has been put in the GS platform. So every other agencies also, they can align their activity. So this is one way of optimizing the resources and time. So that Digital Chennai platform also, we will be developing in 1.5 years time. That's also tender already started to appointing a DPR consultant. And the urban mobility resilience. So what is resilience? The capacity to withstand or to quickly recover from the difficult situation is resilience. Mainly the resilience components are spatial planning and urban transport mobility. Urban mobility, we have to plan the mobility in a resilient aspects, with the resilient aspects. So these are all the 5 pillars of any resilient planning, urban mobility resilience planning. One is a system or network planning. We have to make a master plan strategy for the entire CMA. Second one is a design and engineering. We have to design our infrastructure and transportation systems, having a standard guidelines. So here only the main thrust will be, your stormwater drains and your master drainage schemes, and various street designs also, so that we will have an resilient enabled system in our infrastructure. Third one is operations and maintenance. There is a system protocols and procedures also we will be making. Then fourth one is a contingency programming. This is also a very important pillar, because traffic emergency management plan also it will be a part of that. Sorry, anybody has called?
What is this span?
I request participants to keep on mute, please.
So the fifth pillar is institutional and financial capacity. So interinstitutional coordination. So this is a fifth pillar. And there are a lot of gaps in every pillar. Lack of multimodal integration and resilient aspects is not there. and standards are not there at present. Now we have to make the standards. Similarly, we have to strengthen our institutional mechanism for the monsoon seasons. So many listing is there. I will share the PowerPoint so that members can have a view also. So the way forward, what we are planning is we are integrating all the departments. Second one is under Urban Mobility Resilience Subcommittee. This is a scheme actually. That is Kumta Executive Committee will be there. Under Kumta Executive Committee, there will be Urban Resilience Subcommittee. The main stakeholders are Corporation, GCC, Sengalpattu Collectorate, Tiruvallur, Kanjipuram, and various other departments, highways, CMDA, Tangetco, MTC, Chennai Metro, Fire and Rescues. So all the stakeholders will be there in the urban mobility. And this urban mobility subcommittee is headed by Principal Commissioner, Chennai Corporation. So every subcommittee is headed by the line department chief. Kumta, we will be a co-chair and we will be a secretariat, so that we will be coordinating, hand-holding the entire subcommittee function. So it will be like a participative meeting, and it will be a platform for the all the departments also to share their views and make their plan in a coordinated manner. So that is a main objective of the subcommittees. One minute. Yeah. So under this subcommittee, we last 2nd March, we had a first meeting of Urban Mobility Subcommittee. There, based on the consultant report, these are all the deliverable points we discussed. We wanted to improve the structural improvement of around 28-kilometer road network, and stormwater drains also. Now we are giving the focus, and permeable footpaths. So this is one of the recommendations given, and 26 kilometer the corporation will be developing, and permeable surfacing also near MRTS stations. Now, in fact, the MRTS station, you all may be knowing, 25-kilometer length from beach to St. Thomas Mount up to Velachery presently. It will be connected to St. Thomas Mount. Presently, it is being run by railway. Now the government of Tamil Nadu has taken a policy decision that we will take over the MRTS section and through an SPV, and we will be running. The main lacuna in this sector is very big building and no manning, and no cleanliness is not there. A lot of encroachments or unauthorized elements, and people are feeling little unsafe. So these are the aspects will be improved, and we will be bringing this section on par with the metro system, if not fully, to some level, so that there will be a comfort for the commuters also to use the system. And so that Kumta and the CMDA will be jointly taking that responsibility. That also coming next couple of years, we will be developing those stations also. Then ITS, Intelligent Transport System, this is a mega project. It is going to be awarded shortly. And the entire traffic police and signaling systems all will be upgraded. That is also there. Then traffic emergency plan. Then other focus area, if you see the right-hand side, the list is there. It is a very exhaustive list. In Chennai, there is no stormwater pumping stations actually. So we wanted to identify the critical area where stormwater pumping stations can be located. Similarly, when there is a flood, suppose the main arterial road, there is a flood, so where the traffic can be rerouted, so alternative routes can be developed, for example, in KK Nagar area. So those isolated, pocket-based strategy also we are planning. And Porambok lands in the city also will be developed as a water storage area, like sponge area, and urban forest, underground rainwater sumps in government building. And the other one is urban forest and the compatibility of master drain plan. This is a plan done some 10 years back. Master drain plan means the entire basin, means involving the beyond Arakonam and Kanjipuram area. So this master drain plan, we have to integrate with our third master plan of CMDA. So this involves the interlinking of lakes And so because the lack of drainage or lack of interlinking of lakes only has resulted in a lot of flooding in the system. You might have experienced in the past floods also, mainly due to encroachments and poor linkage of lakes, among the lakes and smaller rivers like Adayar River and Buckingham Canal. So these are all the major areas. But however, as a resilience committee, we will be focusing also, these are the aspects, how best we can use the given the present scenario. And finally, during the last meeting, now the 2nd March, there was a first meeting, and it was decided that we will be making 3 subgroups also. So these subgroups will form the focused recommendations headed by the cutting edge level officers. So they will be recommending the actionable points. So that's what we are working on that. So those recommendations also we will be converting as a working plan for the next 3-4 years. So that is a plan we are having for the resilience subcommittee functioning in Chennai metropolitan area. So this is what overall about the Kumta and the urban mobility and the resilience aspect, especially urban mobility resilience. Then we have many more other projects also, like Mr. Simon also mentioned about the multimodal integration. Now the Kilambakam bus terminal will be also commissioned shortly. And our team also visited the site, and we have recommended that we will make a new train halt just in front of the bus terminal across the NH between Mandalur and Urapakam. So that new train halt will be connected with the skywalk to the bus terminal. Around 400-meter length will be there. So the suburban trains will stop there. The customers can reach the Kilambakam bus terminal through this suburban system. So this skywalk also will be ready in 15 months' time. So this is also one of the multimodal integration effort. And in fact, we recommended that airport metro, Vimkonagar airport metro also will be extended to Kilambakam. That is also in the process. So that will happen by 25-26 up to Kilambakam. Apart from that, our comprehensive mobility plan, now we are working various multimodal integration aspects. And in fact, we are closely in coordination with the Chennai Metro. The phase 2, there are 128 stations. Every station plan, Kumta and CMRL architect team, design team also working together. How best we can optimize the multimodality. For example, Villivakam or Perambur, if the metro alignment is coming, the metro exit gate should be close to the railway platform or railway station entrance. Like that, every bus terminal will be close to the exit gate. So anybody comes out of the metro, he should not open the umbrella. So it is a seamless transfer between the modes. So those detailing also we are working on that. So these are all the few initiatives we are taking. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and any queries I am happy to answer also. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Simon.
Thank you, sir, for giving us the kind of background about Kumta, because this is one of the important authority now for the state, and I think every state will look into this initiative, and the most important is Honorable CM is also completely spearheading this. So as transportation sector itself, we need this authority to step up and come out with a lot of initiatives, and you have already highlighted, and many initiatives are already in planning stage, and few are in advanced implementation stage. With this, I would open the participants for questions. Mr. Ramesh, the co-chair of SICI Infrastructure Committee, is also part of this discussion. Dr. Janak Rajan, I would request your thoughts and your kind of questions to sir, followed by participants are open. There is a chat box also. Each one of you can type, and we can also run through that questions. Over to you, Mr. Ramesh, Dr. Janak Rajan.
Thank you, Mr. Jayakumar, for really detailed presentation of what Kumta's activities will be We really appreciate that it is being revitalized and hope that this is going to take all the initiatives what you have just highlighted to practical implementation. Because as you all know, and we all know that Chennai city is growing bigger and bigger, and either vertically as well as horizontally. So the area of coverage is increasing, and same way the transportation requirements are increasing inside city also. Um, in continuation, before I go forward, I just had one request. If Kumta can also take up parking area developments for metro stations. Most of the metro stations, either there is very limited parking or no parking, especially for
Yeah.
four-wheelers, which I think will be a major requirement if the patronization has to be increased, because people from home to the station is one aspect of it. The second aspect, the last mile coverage, you are already integrating with Ola and Rapido. Fine, that will give a big relief. But same way, the parking is a necessity also. So that if they can add another aspect to Kumta's planning and monitoring, I think will go a long way.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the question. Actually, as a we are making a parking policy in association with the ITDB. Already a draft parking policy has been made by the Greater Chennai Corporation. So we, based on that policy, we will be upgrading and adding some more features amenable for the entire metropolitan area, CMA area, 5,904 square kilometer area. So this parking policy we will be developing. This is a policy level. Second one is a parking plan and strategy and management. So this is what the actual interventions means. Where we'll be having a multi-level car parking, where we can have what is a policy for the on-street parking, off-street parking. So what will be the charging method? So those are the detailing will be the action plan. So that also will be engaging a consultant in a few months' time under World Bank funding also. Already the TOR is ready. So this is a very important aspect. So we will be studying the other cities so that their experiences also will be taken. Then we will be recommending the parking management plan also to the government. So accordingly, there will be some tweaking of some amendments to the acts will be involved for enforcement also. And for the infrastructure funding also will be there associated with that. So this is a major exercise that also we have started. Then coming back to your question more specifically for the metro stations. So we will be studying also, we are studying also the metro station apart from multimodal parking aspects also. So we will be giving the inputs to CMR also. Wherever possible, suppose some places like Nangalallur Road and all, we have a very limited space. But nevertheless, we will recommend that we can acquire some more land nearby so that we can create the parking space. Because unless you give a parking space, the first mile and last mile movement by the commuters will be difficult. So we understand. But the ideal situation, suppose if you see the London Metro or the TfL Transport for London, if you have a grid of metros, like a spider web, light metro or metro, if you have a grid structure, then the parking requirement per se also will come down. But that is an ideal situation. Till then, we have to provide parking. We understand. Yeah, we'll take it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Janakraj, you have any?
Yeah, Mr. Jayakumar, I think your presentation was quite comprehensive, but I really appreciate it, and we really could really understand what Kumta is really now planning, and what one would like to really see in the course of next 10-15 years. Now, what is really attractive to me was to look at what CMDA and Kumta are planning together, and that kind of an integrated planning and approach is what is most needed. Now, having said this, I want to make one or two suggestions. Actually, I was part of the flood mitigation committee constituted by the government of Tamil Nadu, and we recently submitted the report to the CM. And I wish you and Kumta go through it very carefully, because you mentioned about the urban master plans and flood mitigation and so on. We really dealt with these issues very comprehensively, particularly in the CMA region, in the entire 5,904 square kilometers, covering 4 districts and all 4 major river basins of Chennai. So we really dealt with very carefully what could happen due to the floods, and then how the infrastructure should be developed accordingly. So GCC should be having a copy, and CMDA should be having a copy. And we just about 15 days ago we submitted, and have a look at it. That's my first suggestion. Secondly,
Yeah,
I would
thank you.
like, yeah. Secondly, I would like to caution you, particularly since you are talking about I mean, you really very careful. You mentioned quite a lot about the flood mitigation and about the sort of cushion for urban floods of sponges, sponge areas, permeable spaces and so on. I think these are very attractive to me, and in fact I really appreciate those concerns that you expressed. No, but most important I would think is the land use planning. You are right in mentioning that CMDA's main task is the comprehensive urban land use planning, and Kumtas is to look at the urban mobility and the transport network, comprehensive transport network, and master plan for it. Very, very good, very important, and I'm sure both of you will be working together. But I'm not very sure about the CMDA's comprehensive land use planning, because my own suggestion will be CMDA should learn from the mistakes and the blunders committed in the first and second master plan in the case of land use planning, and they should not repeat it in the third master plan. Now it's not yet started, but then I wish they really go for a very comprehensive survey of what you mentioned in terms of the water bodies, linking of the water bodies, supply channel, and the watersheds, wetlands, and those are very important. Unless you really protect them, unless you declare them as a protected zone, and then unless you plan to develop only the leftover space, you will ever be saved from the flood. Otherwise, it is really going to become a difficult terrain in the days to come. Because the
Yes.
district that you are talking about, the Chengalpattu, Kanjipuram, Tiruvallur, and the one other district, the 3 corporations and all the 10 municipalities, these are actually in a sort of the river bed or a water bed. And do you know what is the average rainfall in this region? 1,400 millimeters. It's quite a lot of rainfall, and you are going to get this kind of a rainfall in a very short span of time, thanks to climate change, the parameters. Now, that being the case, you may get 200 millimeters, 300 millimeters in 2 days, 3 days, which is going to become a huge threat for all the transport network and the infrastructure that we will be developing. So you really have to plan for it very carefully. Make sure that these water bodies are well protected and encroached. And if you really see the past events and the past plans, you will see that the arterial road, goes into the tank bed and bifurcates the water body into 2. No, that should not be done. That kind of a plan is extremely myopic. And you will see that, in the arterial road that connects, for instance, Pallikarnai and Krompet, 1 or 2 water bodies are really bifurcated. And you will see that the streams are encroached directly. I think such things should be avoided. I'm much more concerned
Yeah.
about not only flood mitigation, Jaikumar. I'm more concerned about water storage also. We also have to store water. We also have to, in order to take care of your drought, you really have to store water in as much as possible in all the water bodies. So that's why we always mention that, in IFM, integrated flood management, meaning you have to really take care of flood in order to take care of a drought, and you have to take care of a drought in order to take care of your flood. I think this kind of an integrated approach is extremely necessary for you to have some kind of a sustained, resilient urban mobility system. This is one point I would like to mention. Secondly, I'm very glad that you mentioned about the integrated urban transport system. It's extremely important for cities like Chennai. Now, I want to also Kumta to concentrate on the traffic congestion, because in order to you should really measure the decreasing per capita the road space. So that is precisely because of exploding private transport, particularly two-wheelers, the four-wheelers. I mean, everybody wants to go by car, everybody wants to go by two-wheeler, and why people are not opting for transport. I want you to really take this question very seriously. So in order to really increase the per capita the road space, we really have to make the public transport more and more attractive. How to make it more and more attractive? For instance, if you go to countries like Netherlands and Germany, France, I mean, the use of the private transport is less, and people would like to go for public transport more and more. Why is that we are not in a position to do that? It is one reason is because obviously the population density. Population is so high. We are now dealing with 10 million people in Chennai city, is going to go up to 20 million in the CMA. So we are going to deal with a population capacity of something like 20 million. Definitely it is going to be a huge challenge. But despite that, is there a way to make the public transport more attractive so that people really opt out of using the private transport and go for public transport? These are my suggestions. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, Professor. Actually, these are the points we also discussed internally as a brainstorming exercise with our team also. First, I'll come to the mitigation and the planning aspects, especially by CMDA land use plan. This is a very relevant question, because this is where the detailing is required. And secondly, second part is again the regulation. That's what now in one meeting also our principal secretary mentioned that now see, the development takes place, then only the planning department goes. So actually the planning has to be guided. It should be a guided development, not in a reactionary we regularize and doing whatever they already developed. So this is what happening in India. There are various reasons. So ideally, it should be a guided development. That is, we have to say this is an institutional area, this is a residential area, this is a sponge area, or this is a green area. So then only it has to go. So this is an ideal situation. We will be flagging also these aspects in the CMDS, our regular interaction also. Second one is a category change also happening frequently. You may be knowing some from one category to other category. I heard that in Gujarat there is no change allowed. There's a strict implementation is there. So these are all the measures. We have to have a strong political will, as well as administratively also we have to take it forward. So it is what you call it requires a lot of conviction because the city is growing. If you know, by 2040, I think urban population also growing many folds. There is a Mahua report also says. So thank you for that input. In fact, same Pallikkarane road we are discussing 2 months back. When the road is in the surface, it will lead to now it will obstruct the water flow. The second one is somebody will encroach also along the road. Rather, it could have been done on an elevated road, at least.
Absolutely.
Suppose it is an inevitable situation, we could have gone on as an elevated road so that water flow will be unobstructed and encroachment also will be avoided. So the thing is, the entire system has to be sensitized. That is what the planners, not only planners, every executive in the administrative machinery also has to be sensitized. I fully understand. We will read the report also. I saw the report 2 weeks back, and we'll get the copy, and we will also take those elements also through our urban resilience subcommittee. In the urban resilience subcommittee, member secretary CMD also one of the member. So we will take it through. The second one is the traffic congestion. As you are aware, any urban transport authority, our primary objective is promoting public transport. So we have to disincentivize the private transport. It is exactly. And in Chennai, unfortunately, the private transport share has increased than the public transport. So we are aware of the issue, and that's what now we have to make the strategies how to bring back the public transport into the mainstream. The main observation what we made, if you see the number of buses, public transportation MTC buses, in Chennai city we have 20 buses per lakh population. And Mahua standards is 60 buses, I think 50 or 60 buses per lakh population. If you compare TFL, London, they have 100 buses per lakh population. Singapore has 300 buses per lakh population. So if you have a 20 or less than 20 buses per lakh population, so if you are not giving any choice to the customer, naturally he will go by, he will, for example, for Tambaram or Mudichur is there, beyond outskirts are developing. So the buses will go only to that point. Now the routes we are not extending because we are not increasing the number of buses. So naturally the outskirts who are all residing, they will get a bike minimum. Then bike means they will not come to Tambaram. They will come to up to Gindi also working place. So they will have an extended run. So likewise only the two-wheeler and four-wheeler population has increased. Suppose if you give an adequate number of buses, and every commuter or every citizen in the city having access to public transport within 400 to 500 meter from their residence. So these are all the ideal objectives. So if we reach that stage, I think slowly we have to bring back now. So the main thrust is that what we highlighted also, transport department also, we have to increase the number of buses. Today we have 3,200 bus population, of which 2,000, around 2,900 only actually running on the road. And they have legacy issues. So you are all knowing about that. And the government of Tamil Nadu also trying through World Bank also recommended to improve the number of buses. We are making some initiatives also. The gross cost model procurement of buses also, they started the initiative, 1,000 buses they already planned, even though there were some objections also there from the other quarters. But this is not adequate. We have to increase the number. Minimum the city requires 7,000 buses immediately. So this is one factor, and my request is whenever you also interact with concerned departments, you can flag the issue, and from the Kumta level, we will be flagging it also.
Sure. Jaikumar, I just wanted to one interruption I wanted to make. In addition to increasing the number of buses, it's also important that we think about having a dedicated lane for public transport, because that will be very important, and also dedicated cycle tracks. So that will really reduce the congestion, and that many people would like to go use the cycle and use the transport, but then because the time it takes and people avoid. So if there is a dedicated lane, then it reduce the travel time. Then I have the incentive. That's why I asked you whether it is possible to make the public transport more attractive, and you have to incentivize. How to incentivize people to use the public transport. I think that should be the ultimate motive of the Kumta. I know, as a matter of fact, since some of these committee members are also engaging in these sort of activities, we will be very happy to interact with you in future, and we will be happy to help you also. And this is something which we need. And what is really more attractive to me is the integrated approach of CMDA and Kumta. I think that should really help a lot.
Yeah. Well, that is very, very true. And in fact, we are also discussing internally about the BRTS versus bus priority lane also. So BRTS, you may be aware, there was some there is study done in the Tamil Nadu government in 2018-19 also. Now we have been asked to give the recommendations. We are examining it now. Whatever the 7 routes identified by the Transport Department, BRTS, now already 3-4 routes already metro work has started. So what we are planning now, our comprehensive mobility plan, we will be doing based on the modeling. We will be recommending the probable BRTS routes. Now, in fact, in Karnataka, in Gulbarga, they are making a plan. It's a low-cost version, BRTS lane. Now, the conventional BRTS system is having around 20 to 25 crores per kilometer, and it will be having a right side opening doors. No, both side doors will be there. But here this model is a very less costlier, 2 crores only per kilometer, and conventional buses can be run. Conventional buses can be run with the left doors alone. So this also we are examining it. Since we have started our activities only a few months back, slowly we are focusing these aspects also. So we will surely take this forward also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, in continuation to that, the roadside parking and traffic management is going to play a big role, because we can create the lane, but 90% of the time we see that if the lane is created, but again people park, discipline is not there in Indian communities to a great extent. I have also lived abroad. I have seen how disciplined the people are, but unfortunately here we lack in that. So some action has to be taken to control that. Only then these efforts will give you the results. Today, as we know, the roads are so congested today. If there is an expansion of road is done, in spite of that, the road is congested because people make use of as a parking lane, private and public. So we need to look at that in a very big way.
Yeah, this is
And we need to create
very
more
correct.
parking space also. Like Janakraj was talking about planning the third commission and CMDA. The thing is that, as you mentioned, that we are lagging behind. The planning is done after the development. During the planning phase and during the approval phase, no commercial establishment must be given approval without developing enough parking space. If the residentials are converting into commercial, it becomes responsibility of them to make sure the parking space is created. How they do it, it's their responsibility. If we don't implement that, it's not. For example, Ananagar, you take Sundaram Foundation Hospital is there, that doesn't even have a parking. Completely it's roadside parking. You take an emergency patient also, they don't even allow you to stop there. They say drop the patient, you go park, come back, and then take the patient to the ward. So these are some of the things we need to really take it seriously. Unfortunately, corporation is not taking that seriously. And it gives approvals right, left, and center, but without any proper planning.
Yeah, this is obviously true. We are also observing in many cases. In fact, one of the meeting by Additional Chief Secretary also, he mentioned that let us have a review of whatever the parking permission given for the high-rise building, whether it has been misused also. So those sample study also, now we are taking it. And he also advised the corporation to enforce it also, at least in selected packets, so that the message will go to everybody. This is a complex issue, we understand. Now, it's a rampant everywhere.
No, it's going to be really
And
complex
moreover-
issue. It's going to be really complex issue because I saw the news item yesterday announced by GCC that they are going to, permit the roadside parking with a cost, with a fee. So it's going to become legal now. Roadside parking.
Yes, sir.
We are restricting our traffic movement. So
Yeah.
that is what it is.
It's a bad idea.
Actually, so that is why we have to validate with the proper modeling and data. See, whatever decision we are doing, only based on the guess, because we are all experts and in the field. Now we are interacting with the IIT Madras. In fact, we are entering into an MOU, and on a weekly basis we are having an interaction. So one of the discussion also they mentioned that widening of the road per se will not give you
Exactly.
respite.
It won't help.
Widening or
Exactly.
flyovers.
It won't help.
Unless you improve the junctions or throughput, unless you improve the tertiary movement, widening the road, it will become a storage space. Again, everybody will be there in the junction, and he will wait.
Yeah.
So we have to see it as a cluster, as a comprehensive manner, rather than localized knee-jerk reaction. We understand.
Exactly.
So this is also a learning point for us also. We will be slowly, like you are giving a lot of inputs. We will be also discussing stakeholders in our comprehensive mobility plan. Also, we will be discussing with a lot of stakeholders. Focus group discussion also we will make. So we will take all the aspects also. But as we said, enforcement is the key. Now that is the key we have to drive. Now, one is the planning, second is the enforcement.
Yeah.
In
That's
fact,
correct.
sir, I was about to
Enforcement.
highlight that. In fact, there are some more questions. I know the time given from your side was 1 hour, and definitely I think you have your other commitments. But adding to what Mr. Ramesh and Dr. Janak highlighted, sir, we know that I think this government is proactively taking many measures and initiatives, and something which most of the planning projects done will get implemented soon. As JLL also, we support on many initiatives, sir, in terms of GCC's parking, on-street parking management, off-street parking management, and the new bus terminal, so on and so forth. So some of the questions were related. I think you have already answered on the BRTS. Someone also raised this question in the chat box. My one question, sir, in terms of the public-private partnership, because majority of these projects needs huge funding. As you rightly pointed out in the beginning, though you will also be, as a KUMTA, will also be involved in identifying the source of fund vis-a-vis the amount of fund required for the implementation. So what is your feel or thought about involving private sector in such large infrastructure projects, which will also benefit, because end of the day, it's handholding together, public-private will always help for a success. So because we have not seen much success stories in the past where we are still learning from developed countries. But if you see, developed countries are all privately supported with the government, and government themselves are doing so much of active work. So what's your thought and view on the PPP structuring and PPP model in the transportation infrastructure projects, sir?
Yeah, this is a need of the hour actually. PPP in the transportation sector, as I mentioned, the running of the buses, the public transport buses in the city under gross cost concept method also. So this has to come. Otherwise, you cannot proliferate the number of buses. So this is a classic example. Secondly, many more areas also we can involve the private participation. Like MRTS now we are planning to take over. So 18 stations are there. So 18 stations, they have a commercial potentials. All the stations are vacant spaces. So we can develop malls, office spaces, recreational sites also. In fact, we are planning on the PPP model only developing all the stations. That is the in-house consultant is studying also. So 2 stations, sample stations, now we will be coming with a tender in 4 months' time. So once we formally make an MOU with the railways for handing over, then we will start the process. Parallelly, we are doing all the activities. So public participation is essentially required. Now, present day context, because they have a better management and funding and so knowledge, and so government has to facilitate, and the present government is also aware of this. So we will take this point also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And with the time left, sir, I would request if any participants has question, can drop an email or message in the chat box. We'll definitely get back with the response from Mr. Jayakumar. And I would request now the co-chair of Infrastructure Committee, Mr. Ramesh, to have the concluding remarks.
Yeah, I have sent my our email ID also, mskumta@gmail.com in the chat box. So anybody having suggestions also, you can share your thoughts, and that will be useful for us to take it forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning. I think still it is morning. So good morning to all of you. It has been such an honor to be part of this event. On behalf of SICKI Infrastructure Committee, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest and speaker, Mr. Jayakumar, IRTS, Special Officer Kumta. As Janak Roy said, that it has been a very, very comprehensive presentation, and I am glad I see the integration of different departments in trying to develop the city. As of now, we have 99.9% seen every department works on its own. They don't interact with each other. One department is planning something, the other department is de-planning that, rather taking it forward. So we really appreciate that Kumta is taking this integration process so seriously, and it is glad to know that though Kumta was there for so long, in fact, I had no idea about it. And now that it is being revitalized under Chief Minister's, Honorable Chief Minister's chairmanship, I hope that it is going to really work effectively to develop the city's infrastructure. I'm not going to dwell more on whatever we have discussed, but our committee also, we have been discussing on road management and road planning and things like that. Once we have the comprehensive presentation ready, Mr. Jayakumar, we would like to share it with you so that you can also take a look at our committee members' recommendations and plans what we are creating. So it will help us all in jointly going forward and getting things implemented. Thanks for taking time from your busy schedule to do this. And then my sincere thanks to our committee members. And finally, I would like to thank the attendees for making the time to be with us today. Though I cannot ask for a big applause because we are in a video conferencing, but please accept our appreciation and sincere thanks, Mr. Jayakumar. And I hope you all the best and get the total success. Thanks, Simon. You're clapping there virtually. Thank you, sir. It is a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh Kumar. Thank you, Mr. Simon, and thank you all the members, SICKI. Thank you very much. And we will keep interacting also in the days to come. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.